From the red earth path of Ebhoakhala to the unseen realms of the great beyond, we bring you the haunting tale of a soul cut short but never forgotten. This is the story of Onogueshan Odianosen, a maiden betrayed by her own blood, taken too soon, yet destined for greatness. Her journey did not end in death, it only began. Long ago, in the humble village of Ebhoakhala, nestled among the red earth hills of Ekpoma, there lived a maiden of rare beauty and grace. Her name was Onogueshan Odianosen. Born into the modest household of Mr. and Mrs. Odianosen, Onogueshan's early years were filled with hardship, yet her spirit burned brightly like a fire untouched by the wind. Onogueshan's family was poor, scrapping through farm work and firewood sales. Despite the struggles, the young girl carried herself with quiet dignity and a heart full of dreams. She would rise early in the morning to gather firewood, walk barefooted across the thorny paths, and help on neighboring farms just to eat a single meal a day. Villagers admired Onogueshan's resilience, but envy brewed in hidden corners. When Onogueshan turned 22, her life took a tragic turn. First, her mother died mysteriously, then, her father followed. Struck down in his prime by an illness no herbalist could understand, the village mourned, but the whispers spread. Whispers of Onojemewa, her father's sister, a woman feared for her cunning and spiritual dealings. After the mysterious passing of her both parents, Onogueshan kept working to survive, going through life's hardship alone, unaware that her every move was being watched, not by the living, but by fate itself. After 3 full moons, on one fateful morning, while gathering firewood in the dense bush as usual to survive, Onogueshan was bitten by a sleek black snake with glowing red eyes, a serpent not of this world. The venom worked instantly. She gasped, struggled, and fell among the fallen leaves. But this was no ordinary death. Her spirit violently pulled out from her body, and as her soul floated between two worlds, Onogueshan saw her aunt, Onojemewan, chanting in her altar. The vision was clear. Onojemewan was the one who had offered her to the dark spirits, just as she had done to her parents, all for landed properties, inheritance, and the future of her only son. Rage and sorrow filled Onogueshan's soul. She struggled to return back to her body, but it was already too late. When Onogueshan finally crossed into the great beyond, she was greeted by the members of her spiritual clan, dressed in pure white, their bodies glowing like fireflies in moonlight. Aehi, who is a guardian spirit, a radiant being with a voice like rainfall on dry earth, stepped forward and embraced her. You were not meant to die, Onogueshan, Aehi said. You had a destiny to fulfill, wealth, leadership, fame, but the greed of blood disrupted your path. Tears fell from Onogueshan's eyes. She looked around at the ancestral court, ancient ones seated upon high stools carved from sacred trees, judging her faith. But she did not plead, she did not bow. Instead, she stood firm, her eyes blazing. I want to return, she declared, but not as a helpless girl. I want to return as a woman of power, influence, and wisdom. Let me fulfill that which was taken away from me. After Onogueshan made her request known, the council of spiritual elders fell into grave silence. Then they began to murmur, for such request was rare. For anyone to wish to return to the mortal world immediately just arrived the great beyond. Then rose the Queen Mother. of her spiritual clan, who is also her great great grandmother. She studied Onogueshan with her ancient eyes and nodded. Then let the maiden prove her worth, she declared. Let her be crowned ruler among her peers in the spiritual order. But she must journey through all the spiritual clans of the ancestral realms within 49 days, gathering knowledge and power. One day here is 1 year on earth. When the last day passes and she succeeds, then she must return and reclaim her destiny. The gong sounded. A golden crown of light descended upon Onogueshan's head. Her journey had just begun. And so, with a staff of destiny in one hand and her woven bag of ancestral tokens in the other, together with her Ehi, Onogueshan stepped out of her clan into the lands of other spirits and deities and the mystical dwelling of the great timekeeper. Each deities and spirits would test her through trials of wisdom, courage, loyalty, and spiritual strength. As Onogueshan journeyed, her presence began to ripple through the mortal realm, through dreams, through winds, and through silence of the night. In Ebhoakhala, children spoke her name unknowingly in their sleep. The birds changed their tune, the rivers stirred. Onojamewa, now aged and surrounded by ill luck, began to have terrifying nightmares. Nightmares of Onogueshan glowing, crowned, and returning. Onogueshan's footsteps echo across time. Through pain, she found purpose. Through death, she discovered destiny. And now the spirit is there, for her return is near. This is the beginning of her rise. Join us next week for another interesting part of Onogueshan's journey through the ancestral realm. Until then, embrace the journey, reclaim your roots.